this week, the best players are going to get to the top of this board, Diane. You can't slop it around this course. You've got to be smart. I mean, Tiger proved it. Rory proved it. I mean, as I said, I can't emphasize enough that if Rory McIlroy led the field in fairways hit to win this tournament, that is just crazy to me. So all my board is all stacked this week with guys that hit the ball the best on the tour. And you talked, I'll start off by right away by saying it, Scottie Scheffler, who has accumulated more strokes gained points than any person in the history of the tour, is my pick to win this. He has one weak club in the bag, which is the putter, but is it really that weak? He finishes like top 3 or 4 every week, and we're at a slower set of greens, a flatter set of greens. What I like about Scheffler is when he won the Players' Championship, he curves the ball both ways. He does all sorts of crazy stuff with his feet, but at the end of the day, he gets the ball in play, and he's this incredible iron player. And I think it's going to take elite iron play this week, Diane, from around 200 yards. And Scheffler, he's just the guy. For me, odds are obviously in his favor. I think he's ranked number 1. He's number 1 on our field in off the tee. He's number 1 in approach to the green. He's number 1 in chipping, and he's like number 50th this week in putting. So if there was ever a week where Scotty was going to have a chance to win the Open Championship was sort of, are we calling it average putting? This would be the week. Slower greens, flatter greens than normal.
It's wild. It's very hard to call anything that he does average. It's average by his standards compared to his other stats. It's just wild. It's incredible what he's doing right now. He's finished within the top 5 in his last 7 tournaments, and he hasn't finished worse than 12th since November last year. He's made over $19 million this season.
The other thing I like about him, Diane, is he's 2 other little things. He's not he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and then he avoids a lot of bogeys. So he's got a good caddy. He plays well, very strategic. Doesn't get. Is there anyone more heartbeat lower ever all the time than Scottie Scheffler? Doesn't get all hyped up. Not that interested in the tour, talking about all this other stuff. Hey, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know anything. And just keeps going about his business. So. Scheffler's going to be hard to beat this week, Diane, because he hits the ball so well. He didn't even look like he was in the game last week at Scotland. What did he finish? 3rd?
It's remarkable, and he shows no sign of slowing down. We're going to look back on this period of his play as just something insane. And what else is still to come? There's still so much more. Could be capped off with a win this week. He's only had 2 victories this season. He won at the WM Phoenix Open and he won at the Players, that's the only thing, is that when you compare it to the kind of a Tiger run and when Rory was leading in strokes gained, how many more wins they were actually getting. So for Scheffler only to have 2 victories this season, are the floodgates about to open? It's such a weird way to look at it.
And the only reason I'm putting Scheffler on top of Rory, with everything going for Rory, is Rory's whole game this week is going to be about discipline. Will he be able to keep the driver in the bag? Will he stay back? Scheffler chips a little better than Rory. He gets up and down a little better. Rory's I don't want to say mistake prone, but he's not. He's one of the best players, top 3 in the world. But Scheffler's slightly better, and they both probably putt about the same. Rory's stats are slightly better, but Rory doesn't make everything either. They just hit the ball so superior. Putting looks terrible to us, but they're not. They're having a lot of 2 putts, and that's putting their stats up a little bit.
Well, Rory's 42nd in strokes gained putting on the tour right now, and Scheffler's 58th. So, as you say, it is. And
pretty close.
If you were to look at a part of Rory's game that is the weakest, it's his wedge play, isn't it? And just not hitting it close enough. And that's kind of what we saw at the Open last year when he lost out to Cam Smith in the end. So Rory's 7-1. Scheffler is 7.5-1 plus 750. So they're definitely up at the top this week.